he can do that and ignore the consequences, but he can't fire a DA minister without bringing down the government. And that is our power.
So it means that the DA ministers cannot put it bluntly now?
No.
Because he's the president of the country.
The blunt position is this. We have negotiated the position of Minister of Basic Education for the DA. That's in the agreement, right? And it would be untenable if the president said to us, we've negotiated that position for the DA, but the ANC will tell the DA who to put in that position. That's untenable.
But they could say, we don't want Gwarube.
Could say, well, we want Gwarube, and that's our position.
It's a deadlock. You see why people are saying you are the prime minister?
No.
Because basically, his prerogative is gone where the DA ministers are concerned.
That's the point. If he wants sole prerogative, he must get about 50%.
If the president can't even fire a minister without risking political chaos, who is really in charge of South Africa? Let's unpack this brewing dilemma. Greetings, my fellow brothers and sisters. I'm Kondos from Inkarhi Its Time. Today we are tackling an explosive issue shaking South Africa's political scene. DA leader John Steenhuisen has warned that any pressure from ANC's factions to fire Siviwe Gwarube, the Minister of Basic Education, could spell the end of the government of national unity. Meanwhile, Helen Zille claims Ramaphosa can't act without dire consequences. And the late Tito Mboweni once declared the DA as the real ruling party. Is Ramaphosa losing control? Let's dive in.
During that process of this interim government, a constitution was being written, if you recall. And the constitution was finalized in 1996, and that government of national unity came to an end. The National Party left the government, but fortunately the IFP stayed on. So you had the government basically of the ANC and the Inkarhi Freedom Party. Context is different now. Right. What we have now is not a transitional government. It's an attempt at trying to form a government because the elections were not decisive. No party was big enough to form a government on its own. And therefore, this is actually not a government of national unity at all. This is a coalition government of the parties which have not been able to get more than 50% of the vote. And I would like to insist on this. Conceptually, this is not a government of national unity we're talking about. We're talking about a coalition of parties to form a government. And I think that's very important.
Is a GNU a Faustian pact? It's the question, sir, you asked on X. Faustian, my understanding is that it's basically something that is done for present gain without regard of future cost or consequence. What's your concern, sir?
I want to emphasize once again that conceptually we're not dealing with a government of national unity here. We're dealing with a coalition of parties to try and form a government. The danger that we have here is the following, and I thought I should make this point. When you have so many parties coming together to form a government, the question is then what happens of the distinction between the executive and the legislature? Will these parties in parliament behave differently to the way they will behave because they're part of the government? Maybe we should look at it differently. We should look at a situation where a few parties, maybe the ANC, DA, ISP, maybe the MK party if they so wish.
John Steenhuisen has openly said that any attempt by senior ANC members to push President Cyril Ramaphosa into axing Siviwe Gwarube for doing a job would mark the collapse of the government of national unity. Steenhuisen's comments raised the stakes, suggesting that such a move would confirm deep cracks within the ANC-led coalition. Helen Zille has added fuel to the fire by stating that Ramaphosa cannot fire Gwarube without facing political fallout. This statement highlights the perceived influence of the DA within the government and raises questions about whether the president truly holds the reins of power. Former Finance Minister Tito Mboweni didn't hold back, tweeting, "DA is the ruling party and Cupcake is a front. Live with it, ANC members." He went on to call the Government of National Unity a scam, claiming it undermines the ANC's ability to govern independently.
Do you think that the Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Gwarube, should be fired?
If she doesn't implement, we really do not trust that she is really going to implement this because of her behavior. From the beginning, her party was against this, and she boycotted the signing of the bill into law. So we do not trust that really she's serving the country. She has behaved in a manner that shows that she is serving the DA and not the country, and we do not have confidence in her. And we feel that she'd rather resign rather than to serve the DA, abuse her position to serve the country and use that position to serve the DA.
These statements paint a troubling picture of Ramaphosa's presidency. If he bows to pressure and fires Gwarube, it may confirm suspicions that factions within the ANC are undermining him. If he resists, it could destabilize the fragile unity within the coalition government. Either way, Steenhuisen warns that such actions could unravel the Government of National Unity entirely.
Two things. One, on the firing of Minister Gwarube, they must try. The Basic Education Ministry is the Democratic Alliance Ministry. Nobody gets to tell the Democratic Alliance who gets to occupy that seat. The DA has decided that we have 100% confidence in Minister Gwarube to stay in that position. She hasn't broken any law. She hasn't done anything that makes us question her integrity and her capacity to lead that ministry. And so that won't change. So it must try. One. Two, on what will happen if 4 and 5 are enacted, then the constitutionality of those decisions must be tested in the rule of law, in the court of law. As a party that is a constitutionalist party, a party that is pro the rule of law, we will do everything in our power, even outside of our GNU, to protect South Africans, including, if we must, having to utilize the third arm of state, being the judicial arm of state, to test this.
The public and political commentators are divided. Supporters of the DA argued that Gwarube is being targeted for doing her job well, while critics see these comments as a political ploy to discredit Ramaphosa and the ANC. Ramaphosa's dilemma goes beyond Siviwe Gwarube. It reflects deeper tensions within the ANC and its coalition partners. If Steenhuisen and Zille's claims hold weight, it raises serious questions about the future of South Africa's democracy and governance. What's your take on this situation? Is Ramaphosa truly in charge, or is his presidency being controlled by outside forces? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inkarhi Its Time for more analysis of South Africa's political landscape. Let's uncover the truth together. Thank you for watching and take care.